later. But we're going to discuss first about the clean room testing and monitoring. We will go through this. This is a very short, topic. This is the last topic na dito sa tong mid-coverage sa tong midterm, right? So, in a clean room testing, basically, when a clean room has been built, and about to be handed over to the purchaser or the end user, or when the existing clean room is reopened after being shut down for modification that would cause changes to its contamination control characteristics, it will be tested. So basically, after the room is produced, there will be some sort of testing as well as monitoring. Now, the clean room testing, there are principles that we need to follow in this testing. So these are the number of principles that we need to follow after the clean room has been built or rehabilitated or being cleaned. So this is the principles of clean room testing a clean room, right? So, but before that, see to it that your clean room always follow the standards based on the ISO 14644-1. So, what is the 14644-1? That is the standards for ISO 14644-1. It stipulates all the standards pertaining to contamination in the clean room. But after testing, you're going to set some intervals based on the type of clean room that you're going to use using the ISO 14644-2. Alright? Na ikaduhang standards that we need to check just to monitor if the clean room follow the ISO 14644-1. So that's it. Muna ang ato ang tanawon if you're going to test the clean room. So there will be some regular intervals based on the type of clean room. And what are those? These are the principles. This is the sequence. This is the sequence that you need to follow in testing. In testing a clean room. This is the to ensure that the requirements of the principles are fulfilled. This test, this sequence, kaninga sequence nga naadri karon makita ninyo, is used to check if the clean room follows the ISO 14644-1. Number one, room air supply and extract, is it okay? In the case of turbulently ventilated clean rooms, the air supply and extract volume should be measured. The air supply should be and extract by volume, should be measured. Kaning sa air supply, by volume. Turbulently ventilated clean rooms. Take note of it, okay? In the case of unidirectional airflow na clean room, it should be air velocity. Again, if we say turbulently ventilated clean rooms, if you're going to check that the air supply of a turbulently ventilated clean rooms, it is by volume. The measurement will be volume. In the case of unidirectional, the airflow should be the checking will be the air velocity. Okay, the air velocity. That is the one. After this, if you're checking on the air supply of the room, will be okay. You need to do the next checking or testing by the air movement between areas to demonstrate that the airflow between areas is in correct direction. You need to do this, you need to check that the pressure differences between areas are correct, no, and the air direction through doorways, hatches, windows are in the state of based on the ISO 14644-1. Right, so that's it. That's it. The next step. The next step will be the filter installation. The filter installation leak test. No, this we're going to test the high efficiency of the air filter, and it's also the housing. No, it should be checked to ensure that no airborne contamination passes through the clean room, through the damaged air filter, between the filter and its housing, or any parts of the filtration system. Now we're going to check the filtration system of the clean room. All right. The next step will be the containment leakage test. The containment leakage test is this testing should be carried out to show that airborne contamination is not entering the clean room through its construction materials. So that is what we are referring in the containment leakage test. In the air movement in clean room, no, in the type of air movement control test depend on whether the room is turbulently or unidirectionally ventilated. No? The air movement in this type of test, in this part of the test, the air movement in the room will be based depending on the type of clean room. What are the type of clean room? We have turbulently ventilated clean room, we have unidirectional ventilated clean room, and we have also mixed flow. No, we have a mixed flow clean room. If we're going to know what is the mixed flow, that is there is a semi-turbulently ventilated clean room, and there is also a unidirectional system within the room. The clean room is if the clean room is turbulently ventilated, then it is necessary to check that there is no areas within the room with insufficient air movement. No. Wala sa dapat insufficiency of air movement. If the room has a unidirectional airflow, it is necessary to check that the air velocity and direction throughout the room is specified based on the design. And you need also to check that it really complies the standards of the ISO 14644-1. Right? Okay. The last part will be the particle count. In the particle count, if the above tests are satisfactory, then the final measurement will be carried out to ascertain that the concentration of particles and where the appropriate microorganisms comply the design specification laid down for the room. So this will be the last test that you're going to do or you're going to perform based on the principles of clean room testing. But there are also additional tests. There are also additional tests. This will be it is not stipulated actually on the ISO, but it depends on the purpose of the clean room and why the clean room exists. So this will be additional test. The test of temperature, the relative humidity, the heating and cooling capabilities of the room, the sound levels, the lighting levels, and the vibration levels. Depending on the purpose of your clean room, we have different types. We have different purposes of clean rooms. No, natay clean room nga para pharmaceuticals, the clean room for electronics. No. Mga chips, microchips. No? Those are the type of clean room it really needs to control the airflow, especially the particle counts of mga particle counts within the air. No, so that is the additional test if it is necessary to do these things, to do this test. Now, kasi nag-agoy. Kasi may nag-agay diha. Ano agay-agay naman to? Alright, the type of test, the type of test to be carried out in the room depend whether on the room it is unidirectional, as I said earlier, unidirectional, turbulently ventilated clean room, or mixed flow. No? Kung mixed flow, if we say mixed flow room, that is a partly turbulently ventilated or unidirectional. No? So meaning we're going to medyo combination. So that's mixed flow, right? So the types of tests required with respect to the type of room, the type of clean room, will be as built, based on the condition of the room, will be as built, at rest, or fully operational. All right, fully operational. If you say as built, as built, what you are referring is an empty room, an empty room. If you say at rest, that is room fitted with machinery. So there will be in this part, we have the presence, at rest, we have a presence of machinery. Then as built, we have empty. This is an empty clean room. Ang at rest, a fully operational, there is the presence of the occupancy. We have we have the machinery, but it has also a personnel or operators inside the clean room. That is what we are saying about fully operational. All right? Did you get me, guys? Hello. Very good.
Yes, sir.
All right. When the clean room is being handed over to a user, the initial testing is usually in the condition of as built, as built na siya ang kaning type of before they will hand it over to the user, all right? But you need to see to it that this clean room before you're going to hand it over to your user, that it really complies with the ISO 14644-1. And the purpose of this, is to conduct area testing. Yeah, we need to conduct area testing para just to emphasize that the clean room really complies with the ISO 14644-1.
Ayan yung PSG, di ba? Ano? Okay, trabaho ng PSG mo. It will involve the whole nation, Pilipinas. While ang COPC is per institution.
Alright, this is now the parameters if we're going to conduct retesting just to demonstrate the compliance of ISO 14644-1. What is your basis here? So may basis na to ani para we can conclude that the clean room really complies with the ISO 1464-1. We need to use this, Makita niyo ni guys, tanawan ko ni. Makita niyo ni. This one.
Kita rin, sir.
All right. Unsa ning naadri sa 14, this is the international standard ISO 14644-2. The 14644-2, that is the specification for testing and monitoring of to prove that the continued compliance with ISO 14644-1. we are talking about the ISO 1464-1, and to make us give a conclusion that the clean room really complies with the ISO-1, you need to use this ISO-2. What are the contents of this? No, so yung mga content niya. We can refer on the ISO-2 the demonstration of continued compliance, the principles, the testing and continued compliance and monitoring, as well as the documentation, especially this one, the frequency intervals. No? The frequency intervals. You can see that based on this, no, based on these parameters, no, the parameters, we have the ISO 5, we have the ISO class 5, no. The ISO class 5, we have 6 months and 12 months. If less than ISO class 5, you can have a maximum interval of 6 months. Kung ISO more than ISO class 5, we have 12 months. What we are referring about the 6 months and the 12 months? What are these intervals? What we're referring to? No, if we're going to check this, these are the definitions of intervals. If we're going to update, no, if we're going to update the interval constantly, no, of course, constantly, that is what we call continuous. All right. If we're going to update that specified interval at specified intervals not exceeding 60 minutes during the operation, that is what we call frequent, right? And if we're going to have an average interval not exceeding 183 days, no, throughout the periods of operational use and subject with no interval within 190 days, that is the ISO 5 maximum time interval of 6 months, as well as on the 12 months and so on and so forth, 24 months also. So those are the terms concerning frequency intervals. So that is the basis now. If we're going to conduct a retesting, no, of retesting, right? These are the demonstration of continued compliance, meaning this will be your basis if the clean room really complies with the ISO 1464-1. So tanawin mo ang -2. Okay? So I have already uploaded the 1464-1 in our use step on the first topic ata o katong topic itong standards of clean room. So you can check now the standards of clean room. I-review to ninyo, okay? Because that is also part of our midterm exam. All right. This also the retesting, no, retesting, no, when where the application requires them additional tests to demonstrate compliance or added, just like what we have here. The filter is installed correctly, the testing about the air filter. These are the air volume or velocity and the air pressure difference testing. No? This must be tested in a maximum interval of 12 months. Although the maximum interval of 12 months, the time interval can be extended if continuous or frequent or monitoring is used. No, the ISO 1464-2 standard also allow optional test to be included in the testing if agreed by the customer or supplier, depending on your end user. This should be tested at maximum interval of 24 months or 1 year or 2 years. However, in this case, these are only suggested time interval. All right. Did you get me, guys? So these are the additional tests, but this is what we call optional. Now, if we're going to monitor the room, no, we're going to monitor your clean room after testing. monitoring of clean room, no? The time intervals, the test, the time interval and test to be carried out to show that the clean room continues to comply with ISO standard 1464-1 are provided in ISO 1464-2. Correct? Mali ko lang ko ha. The 1464-2 provide all the data necessary to confirm that the clean room complies with the ISO standard 1464-1. No? Right? In the clean room of high standard, where cleanliness are vital part in the production process, further testing and monitoring may be required. All right? These are the variables that we need to monitor in the clean room. No? The air pressure difference, the airborne particle count, and the microbial counts. Usually kaning microbial counts testing. Usually dito na mag-permi ang continuous ang iyang monitoring if the clean room, the purpose of clean room is for pharmaceutical product. No, their pressure difference can be measured. No, the kaning pressure difference can be measured or recorded continuously by measuring instrument. No, mga high-end measuring instrument to monitor the air pressure. No. Maybe you can check the ISO class 4 to identify what are the air pressure differences. No? Okay, guys. No, the particle count. The particle counts can be measured and recorded using some criterion, no? Natin mga criterion na makita niyo na sa dito sa ISO 14644-2. Right? Okay, guys? But monitoring positions should be selected that are important to production. No? Usually, the monitoring is very important to close where the product is exposed to contamination. Especially the products is very close or close to expose to contamination, especially in pharmaceuticals and electronics and microchips productions. No? You need to monitor the room. So these are the variables that you need to monitor if you're going to use the clean room, right? So that is the end of my presentation. Any question about the last topic na to, guys? Any question about the last topic? Hello? Are you there? Natulog naman siguro ni Sir Tingali?
Wala na siguro, sir.
Wala na siguro, alright.
And so far.
None so far. Okay. Very good. Pasabot na nga nakasabot ka jud ka mo. No? Anyway, di man ta dapat nga mag-classical but because we are delayed 1 week, no? 1 week delay, no? 1 week delay. I decided to move our midterm exam karong Monday. No? We're going to check this, no? We're going to check our use step. So, naladari ang clean room na tibok libro, no? Dahil ang katong standard na gingon ako kanina mo ni 14,644 na siya, guys. Sa kanina makita niya dali 14,644. Ato ning zoom ba? Ayun. Yeah, this one. This is 14,644 na siya. Nanatan na dali. This is ISO 14644-1. Right? So, this one, in the midterm, muna kong topic, no? Muna itong discuss. Pareha sa list na content, guys. Principles of clean room testing and monitoring of clean room. Pareha rin ni content. Kanin doha. Pareha rin nga file. Ako lang ibutang niya. Kanin doha dali makita nyo dali. As well as, I also inputted the 14644-2. No? 14644-2. The midterm exam, no, kanisya, itong midterm examination will be open, no? Ma-open siya by Monday at 8 to 5 p.m. Okay? 8 to 5 p.m. and by the time that you're going to open the exam, you will be given 1 hour to do the exam. That is 30 items. No, that is 30 items. That is a objective type. No, multiple choice. Na fill in the blanks. No, halo-halo na siya. No, kanitong midterm examination. Na identification. No, na identification. Then the part of our midterm exam is also this one. Kaning last topic atong discuss ito kaning short, very short na topic kaning this one. Kaning diba? So the rest of the questions of the midterm exams comes from our quizzes, no? Kaning itong mga quiz ato diri sa ato ang previous quizzes, no? So that is the composition of our midterm exam. Now the midterm exam will be open by Monday at 8 to 5 p.m. Alright, you have 3 attempts. No, among the 3 attempts, kung sa pinakataas na grado, mo ay ma-record. Okay, among the 3 attempts. Okay, okay ba mga guys?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Kindly inform the rest of your classmates na atong midterm exam is coming Monday. Alright, any question? Wala na ba yung question?
Wala na, sir.
Very good. Very good. So, good luck guys. No?